Hello and welcome to a new edition of Interview with Irene. Today my lovely guest is the wonderful Julieanne Lynch, who is a great author and actually we met each other through Jessica Saba. Hi Jessie, who's
Hello, Jessica.
wonderful editor and PR person. And so today, Julian will talk about her writing. And I think I have um your great books like I read it a while ago, but enjoyed it very much. So welcome, Julian, and thank you for coming.
No problem.
So, could you tell us a little bit about what you write about?
Well, I'm a multi-genre author, so I write for young adults as well as adults, and I write from fantasy to contemporary romance straight through to horror. But my love of horror seems to be where I kind of keep going back to. So I
Oh,
enjoy my horror writing.
wonderful. And um, what could you tell us a little bit about your latest work?
Well, my latest book actually came out a year ago. It was Beneath the Lighthouse. I actually have it set in my native north of Ireland. So it has a lot of Irish dialect, Irish um, sentimentalities, especially with me. And I stay very true to my roots within the story, but it is it's a very different horror book. People think that they can predict where the story is going, but it's unpredictable and it's quite graphic and it is horrific. And I deal with not only monsters that go boo in the night, I deal with monsters who are very real and live within our own homes. And I highlighted an awful lot of things like domestic abuse, mental abuse. And I think that's very important in young adult literature to give our readers something that they can connect with and not feel like they're so alone.
Right, there's an incredible story. I'm sure it will help a lot of people too.
Yes,
So,
yes.
um, so what inspired you to write about horror and kind of incorporate these issues with it?
I grew up reading Stephen King. I was a huge fan of his from my young 12 years of age, 13 years of age. And because I was bullied at school, I didn't do the normal things that teenage girls did. I didn't go to discos, I didn't go out dating, I didn't do any of that stuff. So my escape was reading. And I suppose I always knew that I wanted to write. I just didn't really understand my voice. It took me an awful long time to find my voice and to be comfortable with the kind of stories I wanted to tell. And as anybody who will know, regardless of what I write, I always have an awful lot of realism within my work. I deal with very topical subjects, depression, abuse, grief, death. I think it's important for me to have
And
that element within my work because I want my readers to connect, even though it's a route for escape for them. I also want them to feel like it's real, even if it's in a fantasy world or
and
romance. You know, I like it. I like it to be varied.
right. So when did you start writing? During school or after you finished school?
I was writing from I was a very young girl. I was writing short stories and poems and song lyrics from I was about 10 or 11 years of age. And I really started to understand, not greatly, but I understood a brief amount of writing when I was about 16, and I just didn't understand the I don't know how to explain it, the dynamics.
I
I
see.
just thought I'd go in and just throw in, first person and third person, and it was just a mess. But that's how I learned, I just learned. But by the time I was in my mid-20s and I'd been to university and studied creative writing and had spoken to an awful lot of writers, I really understood that I had to write, and it wasn't just a hobby, as some people like to say to me that it's a hobby. It's more than a hobby. It's a passion. It's a life's passion, and it
Right,
is my career.
right. And there was a while back one of your books they wanted to um turn it into a movie.
Yes,
Is that can
still
we
do.
expect that
I've
anytime?
been told, like, I really don't concentrate on that side of things. Although at the time it was very exciting when I signed the rights of options, and it's just one of those things. The industry is very unpredictable, and from my latest, well, it's a few months since I've last spoken, but things were still going ahead. But I don't pay too much attention on that. I try to focus on the writing, because if I became obsessed about film rights and the prospect of development, I don't think I'd ever write again. I'd just be focused on that.
That's an important issue. It's just important to get your work out there. So
Yes. Yes, it's
yes,
very important. You have to keep on pushing and keep on the productivity. I've slowed down in recent years. I used to write very fast and many books, maybe back to back within the space of a year. But now I'm happy if I concentrate on one book and one book a year comes out, because I'm a busy mother. I have a busy home life, and I think it's unrealistic to keep putting that kind of pressure on me. So
right.
I just concentrate on the one book at a time, and maybe you know, have little storyboards for future projects completed. But I'm a one book at a time woman these days.
That's good. So can you tell us a little bit about your children?
My five children, my eldest is 22, and he moved out of home recently this year and is living with his girlfriend. And as much as I'm enjoying that he's a man now and doing his own thing and is very happy, I miss him terribly. And when he comes to visit and he leaves, I don't want him to go, because it's horrible. It's like letting your baby boy go, but I
Oh,
suppose that's what happens in life. But my next child is 18, and then I have a 14-year-old and a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I've one on the way.
yes, congratulations. You were just saying two in
Yeah,
January.
yes, but
Wonderful.
thank you.
Um, so I know you're writing and all your children must keep you busy, but do you have any other interests or anything you can do for fun?
Well, other than
Yes.
being pregnant at the moment, I normally love going to the gym. I kind of took on a healthy lifestyle about 3.5 years ago, and I became very obsessed with becoming a healthier version of myself. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to start eating right. I suppose that horrible idea of my mortality kicked in, and I want to be around for a long time for my children. I want to see them grow up, and also I want to be a healthier version of myself. I wasn't very happy. And after my last baby, I broke my pelvis, well, that's 7 years ago. But I was told I'd never be able to do certain things again, and I proved the doctors wrong. So I like to weight lift, and I like to hike, and I like to run and swim. So when I'm not with the children, or I'm not writing, or I'm not being lazy in front of the television, I like to be very active and fit.
Wonderful. And then lastly, you talk about keep writing as an advice for all writers, I would believe. But do you have any other advice for future writers?
I think that you need to read. I honestly believe that every good writer has a passion for reading. You know, there's no point in saying that you love to write, but you'd never read a book. Every good writer out there will tell you that they enjoy sitting back with a book. I mean, I love reading. That's the reason why I write. I just love story building, and every book I've ever read has inspired me, and I want to be at that level where I don't look for success, but if I have a group of readers that look forward to what I write and look forward to each release, that to me that's a success in its own. So I'm happy, but I would advise any writers to keep reading and don't lose that passion. Pick up a book.
I agree. And thank you so much for joining me, Julian. It was really a pleasure having you.
That's no
Hopefully,
problem, Irene.
hopefully we'll have you in the future too.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And
Thank
thank
you,
you
Irene.
for joining me for another interview, Irene. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
And